Right, welcome to the physics of gains. This is where I'm gonna try to break down why muscle growth is a mechanical process, just like what makes a supercar fast. Here's the truth: your body is a high performance machine, and if you've been following me for um the past few months, you probably have heard this a lot of time in my posts or reels or whatever, because it's something that I truly believe in, and I think it's quite true. The analogy is pretty pretty accurate if you ask me. And muscle growth isn't about luck. It's not about motivation or some genetic lottery. It's just physics, it's biology, it's torque, tension, force, and leverages. Exactly the same principles that make a supercar perform without the biology. Okay, that is the only difference. And when you understand the principles that make a supercar perform, you can understand how to build your body. And when you understand the physics behind training, you will build muscle faster, with fewer plateaus, with less confusion, and with way better results because you are now not guessing. You know exactly what you need to do, and you are basically an engineer now. You will engineer your physique. So let's start with the number one law of muscle growth, which is mechanical tension. This is the equivalent of cylinder pressure in an engine. If you don't generate enough pressure, the engine doesn't make power. In a similar way, for our bodies, if you don't generate enough tension, mechanical tension, the muscle will not grow. So intensity, load, stretch, maybe even time under tension, those are the building blocks of your muscles. Your muscles are like pistons. They behave like some pistons. When they contract against resistance, they generate force. And the more controlled, high quality force they produce under load, the more your body creates a reason to adapt and to build muscle. Just like an engine, it's not about the chaos, it's about the controlled pressure. Here's why most people have no clue what they are doing. Your body is a system of levers. Every single exercise shifts joints angles and changes the mechanical load on your muscles and on your body and the other connective tissues, and more details to come. This is why the same exercise feels different for different people. Longer arms, shorter arms, different torso lengths, they all influence torque and muscle tension. And what is torque? In the most simplistic way I can explain it to you, uh, it's simply a rotational force around the joint. If your limbs are longer, the load has more leverage against you, so the exercise becomes harder. And if your limbs are shorter, the leverage is a bit reduced, so the exercise can be easier, making the same weight a bit easier. The weight is still the same, but it might feel different. Torque changes the stimulus dramatically. And as a car analogy for torque, think of torque in a car. More torque, more force at the wheels, the more it will push you in the seat. But if you cannot control it, you will spin out. Same in the gym. Greater torque, greater stimulus, but only if your form is stable enough to handle it. Where most lifters go wrong is they chase ego weight. They use bad angles, they use momentum, they have no stability, they compromise it, So instead of building high mechanical tension, they are basically just rattling the chassis, which is your body. And here's why range of motion matters, um, and exercise execution as well, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Range of motion is huge. Longer range is equal to a greater stretch and therefore more mechanical tension. That's why half reps don't build a full physique. Yes, you may still grow from them, you may still get stronger from them, but only in that uh, respective range of motion. So if I only train the shortened muscle range of motion, I will not become necessarily stronger in the lengthened part of the movement. That was just as an example. And if we have a stable chassis, we will have a stronger output, so you can produce more force. Um, and this is another mistake that people make, ignoring stability. A supercar, for example, needs a stable chassis in order to transfer power to the ground. And in a similar way, you need stable joints and controlled positions, stable ones, to transfer force efficiently. Stability allows you to produce more tension, more power, and nonetheless more growth in a safe manner. Regarding form now, like I was saying earlier, it's a form of mechanical optimization. So having a good execution on an exercise is kind of a mechanical optimization, if you ask me. When we talk about it, we are not talking about being a absolute perfectionist, but we are talking about mechanical optimization. Changing angles to maximize tension on the muscle that you are trying to target. It's not just lifting weights, but applying mechanical tension with intention. Okay. Um, and it all comes to force curves then. Another pretty important aspect. Every exercise has a force curve, a point where it's the hardest. Some exercise pick in the stretch, some in the mid range, some at the lockout. It all depends on multiple factors, such as on what machine you are doing them on, what type of weights you are using, a barbell, a dumbbell. It depends on your leverages, on your arm length, leg length, torso length, multiple factors. But understanding this makes your exercise selection smarter. So it's not random, it's physics again. Knowing this will help you extremely um, when trying to select appropriate exercises. Then, progressive overload. This is the keywords that you will hear when talking about muscle growth in absolutely every subject that mentions muscle growth. You will hear about those two words. It's like ECU tuning for your car. Is you are increasing the engine's output, but over time. You don't max out instantly, you do it gradually, step by step. Add load too fast, your engine starts to knock, you maybe stall, and you maybe blow something in the engine bay, which we do not want to happen. So it's the same for your body. How to do it safely? Safe overload is pretty simple. Increase just one variable at a time, as seen on the screen. It might be weight, it might be reps, tempo, range, frequency, the overall volume. Just do one at a time to make sure that you safely overload. Just like tuning boost pressure carefully. You don't want to explode the turbo. You want to do it step by step. Okay. And why does consistency win all the time when talking about building muscle? A high performance engine doesn't stay perfect with one oil change, but your body doesn't transform with one good workout as well. So, in this way, they are kind of similar again. Consistency will build stronger connective tissues like tendons, better neural drive. You will learn how to recruit more motor units and to how to recruit them more efficient, faster, and you will have better leverage control. You will understand how the weight should feel, when it should feel that way, and how you could modify angles or positions to control the movement better. And the most importantly, you will have bigger muscles over time. It's a process, not an event. So arm yourself with a lot of patience. But if you respect everything, the results will be guaranteed. So, what actually builds muscle? So, let's simplify it. There are a few laws, let's say laws um, of muscle growth. The first one, as I've mentioned earlier, probably the most important one, is mechanical tension. Then, um, progressive overload, which I've mentioned as well, and full range of motion. If you hit all of those, it is kind of physically impossible not to grow, considering that you recover enough and that you eat kind of appropriately. It will still happen even if you don't eat that good. But if you hit your protein, it will still happen. So your training program should prioritize stable exercises with maybe deep stretch positions for some of the muscle groups that have been recently shown to grow a bit more when trained in a stretch position, but it's not viable for absolutely every single exercise. I would also recommend just training full range of motion, and that's the best case scenario. Controlled reps, low momentum or not at all, or done only when trying to go a bit past failure so that you get one or two more reps in if that's appropriate. Uh, Prioritize maximum tension and measurable progress, which is extremely important for long-term progression. Try not to do random workouts. Try not to chase only pumps. Yeah, for sure, they feel great, but that's not the ultimate goal. It doesn't mean you will grow if you got a chest pump, okay? And do not confuse the muscle, as Arnold used to say. It's not working like that, unfortunately. Your body follows the laws of physics. Not motivation, not hype, not randomness. Just master the mechanics and you'll master the muscle. It's that easy. Your dream physique isn't built on vibes, it's built on physics. And respect the mechanics, drive the process with intention, and your body will perform like a supercar. Thank you for watching. Now try and go apply this and build something powerful. I'll see you until the next one.